This is one of my favorite metalcore riffs of all time, not just to listen to, but to play as well. It's very fun, and if you play it right, it's actually going to make you a much, much better guitarist. But there are a few specific ideas that you don't really notice at first that make this riff what it is, which we're going to talk about in this video. We're talking about the verse style riff, not the intro for My Curse, Killswitch Engage, if you guys haven't figured that out. First of all, it's in drop C tuning like most Killswitch riffs, if not all. C, G, C, F, A, and D. And it's going to be distorted and palm muted for this part of the riff. The intro and the verse are slightly different, which I will talk about here later on. The song is in 3/4 timing, which is important because you're going to want to practice this. And you're going to want to practice it to a metronome, which you're going to need to practice it in 3/4 in order to get it right. And I'm going to give you guys some advice on specific ways to practice this riff to be able to learn it as efficiently and quickly as possible. We are just using 3 chords in this. Very beautiful chords, by the way. I don't remember exactly what chords they are. I think it's like an add 9, add 11, and a 7th chord or something. And it is a consistent picking pattern the entire time, so I'll kind of explain that picking pattern now by telling you guys which strings you need to pick. So it's going to be 4, 3, 4, 2, 4, 3, and on this first chord you do that 2 times. And then you switch to the second chord. It's the same exact thing, 4, 3, 4, 2 times 2. And then you switch to the last chord, and it's the same picking pattern, but we do actually add in that first string every other time. So you'll play the picking pattern 4 times, but every other time, instead of hitting that second string, you're going to hit that first string open. And that's the entire riff. It is actually a little bit more difficult to get down than it seems for a few reasons. First of all, the palm muting makes it kind of difficult to do that arpeggio picking because it is all down picked, and that is very important if you want to play the riff correctly. Not to say that you guys can't alternate pick it and make your own riff, but if you want to play it the way that Killswitch plays it, they play it all down picking. And the important part is that you have to have your right hand relaxed, which you should all the time when you're playing guitar. You should be relaxed, you shouldn't be tense. But it's very important because that allows the pick to bounce off the strings, and you can kind of hear that bounce in this arpeggio riff. Listen to it. Versus. So it definitely makes a difference. And then, like I mentioned before, the intro riff is different in the sense that it's a clean tone. It's not palm muted, and it is alternate picked. It's not down picked. So if you practice this riff both ways, alternate pick and down pick, then you'll be able to play the intro and the verse, and then just continue to learn the rest of the riffs, and you'll have this song 100%. And it's actually, this entire song is very fun to play. It's one of my go-to songs for warm-up. It's one of my favorite songs to play. Every single riff in this song is very fun and kind of unique in their own way. So as far as practicing, if you practice this riff from beginning till end, start to finish, you get the point. It's going to take you a very long time to learn. So here's a few ideas that are going to make this process much quicker. It's going to be more effective, more efficient. You're going to learn this riff very quick if you do these things that I'm telling you right now. First off is practice the chord transitions separately. The first chord to the second chord is kind of a difficult transition because you're going from like using your 1, 3, and 4 fingers to your 1, 2, and 3 fingers in a completely different way. So what I would do is I would practice that transition over and over and over and over and over. And you can even practice the other one too. The other one's not as hard because you're just going from your pinky to your ring finger. But I suggest you practice that as well. But for sure, practice these two. I like my middle finger to already be in that position, like right close to my first finger. That's one of the more difficult fingers to adjust, in my opinion. So if you already have your finger kind of right there, and even if you're pushing down on that string during this first chord, where it needs to be on like that ninth fret on this second string, it's not gonna affect the sound because you're playing higher notes on that chord already. That's first thing. Practice those transitions. If you did that for like 10 minutes for like 3 or 4 days straight, you would have those transitions down pretty well. And then the second part is practicing this arpeggio. First off, just practice it between 2 strings, down picking obviously. So go from the 4th string to the 3rd string. And I would recommend, I don't have a metronome on right now, but I recommend playing that to a metronome so that your timing is right. And then add that 2nd string in, the 3rd note. And just practice that over and over and over. I would recommend practicing the 2 strings for like 5 minutes straight until you get it perfect. And then add that. And that's pretty much the entire arpeggio. Is just, you just do that twice. And then when you get to that last chord, you're going to have to add in that 1st string, which does kind of throw a little curveball in it. It is a little difficult at first. I would practice that, the 4-2, 4-1, just over and over and over and over and over, and don't worry about throwing that 2nd string in there. Your hand needs to learn where it needs to land in order to hit that right versus hitting that 2nd string. And then start to do both of them together. Anyways, that is the riff. That's how you play it. That is my recommendation on how to practice it, and I bet you if you practice it this way, it'll take you less than a week to learn and get down, versus if you try to practice the whole riff as one, it's probably going to take you several weeks, and it's, I guarantee you, going to be sloppy. So I hope that this motivates you guys to learn this riff, or at least pick up the guitar and play something today.